Alright, let's talk about Shane Wiegaz. I'm saying that wrong, and I'm really, really sorry about it. But Shane is the newest character for the game. He is Chapter 40.5, The Life Road, released on June 25th, so I'm a little late to the party about talking about him, but I was kind of focused on the anniversary event. I made a video covering that. And this is kind of just like a deeper look into Shane and how I've enjoyed him since his release, instead of a knee-jerk PTB thing that people typically do, which I really want to start off saying I really like Shane. On screen right now, I'm recording this with the Twitch shirt, but his basic outfit, really preem, biker. I loved his little trailer that they showed off when they first revealed him. He's just a good looking survivor. I like his looks, I like his model, I like his animations. He doesn't feel like a heavy man like David does, or like Nicolas Cage or anything. He feels closer to Hinata, Quentin, and Ace in terms of movement, which is just a personal thing. I'm sure some people don't even recognize the difference, but I do. So he feels really good to play with, and I'm really happy about that. But the main thing is that this is the first indigenous, I struggle to say that word. I have a speech impediment for those that don't know, so please give me a small break. First indigenous survivor to ever come to the game, which is a huge plus for representation. I don't remember, I'm looking at the lore right now. He is, but for the Anishinaabe of Glass River First Nation. I don't know if that's a real nation, but that's pretty cool. His lore is that he, growing up, it's like a whole thing in their culture to serve and help your family and your neighbors, and basically just, I want to say tribe, but like your nation. It's a huge thing about supporting each other. I'm describing this so poorly. Basically, he is part of the Glass Nation tribe, Glass River Nation tribe. He became a lawyer to help his people out in terms of everything. His cousin Derek was convicted of murder of a police officer who was taken by the fog, which makes me think that the original survivor we're getting, April, might be that police officer, or this is any other person that they're just dropping to maybe come back to later, or just to show that the entity does take people that we'll never be able to meet, similar to other people already listed in the tomes. Or, for those that don't really read those and just play gameplay, the Alex's toolbox is Alex is a survivor that we'll probably never meet at this point. But basically, Derek refuses to say that he killed the police officer for a plea deal, so he drops Shane on his case. Derek gets arrested, obviously life in jail forever, no parole, awful, devastating. Because Shane didn't stick up to him and didn't compromise, his community kind of turns their back on him because their whole thing is supporting each other no matter what, balance, justice between people. So they turn his back on him because they don't think he was trying to serve justice or balance for his cousin, which is very close to their community. So then he starts doing odd jobs around the country until he hears a rumor about a Pacific Northwest, I'm gonna be honest, saying that makes me think Gravity Falls Pacifica, and I feel bad about that. But he hears a rumor about a man who was also taken by the fog in the Pacific Northwest, which is Jake Park, which, by the way, the lack of shipping art and stories of Shane and Jake is very concerning to me, because Jake's the only one that he has voice lines with in lobby. He actively says, "Jake, is that you?" or whatever, and Jake is listed twice as lore. It seems really confused to me that that isn't listed. Anyway, so he goes out to the Pacific Northwest to find Jake. Obviously gets taken by the fog, sees the cop that was originally taken. Jake he sees, as well as other people that he doesn't know, and he wants to help them, and that is his lore. That's how he's taken to the fog. He is a man who is determined to help people, originally through a lawyer, then through odd jobs, and now he wants to help people in the fog. But the main focus here is that the lore does a really good job of being part of an indigenous culture, from what I've gathered online from indigenous people. Keep in mind, for those unaware, some people thought I was mixed or black, apparently, due to my entity OC, which I find very fascinating. But I'm white, so a lot of my opinions about this come from looking at indigenous people talk about the chapter, and a lot of them seem very happy about it, which I'm very happy for them. Part of that actually has to do with the cosmetics in the store. You have the, basic recolors, which are kind of whatever, the green outfits, which is more advanced basic recolors, some basic more outfits that aren't as like expensive, but a lot of people have said that the little hair braids that he has, the necklaces, the earrings, all that stuff matches the culture very well, and a lot of people have been giving props to Behavior about that, saying it works really, really well, from the colors to the medallions to whatever he has to the bracelets. It all fits, especially with his two very rares, which are the actual like tribal ceremony outfits, which are sadly, in my opinion, sets. But the reason they're sets is because it is a more religious, cultural thing, and I think Behavior decided, even though if it doesn't, even if you could mix match it, they're like, we don't want people getting backlash for mixing the more cultural, significant tribal outfits, which, you know, that's why they're sets. I get it. A little disappointing for me, so I probably won't ever buy them unless I got them for free or maybe with Eerie Shards, but a lot of people have been giving props to the outfits, saying that they're really, really good detail and actually relate to the culture of indigenous people, which huge props to Behavior for that. Like him or hate him, Behavior's pretty good at getting people's cultures right in the game. There was a small mishap with Trickster's Delusion as a map, but otherwise I've heard, and how it isn't really Korean and how it's more Japanese, so small mishap on that one, but typically they're pretty good about it. I know Krazu and V were huge dubs last year. I'm really happy that we're starting the road to year 11 anniversary with a pretty big dub in terms of new character. One last thing I want to cover, actually, before we cover his perks. His prestige badge is literally like mogging. Like, I don't I don't know if you've seen like the chat where the guy takes like his finger around his chin or whatever, but that it looks like he's doing that, and I just think it's kind of funny. So I apologize if other people don't really see it, or if I'm going to forever curse this badge for you, but I think it's hilarious. It's very similar to how V's is the little freaky V one, which in my opinion brings more life into these badges and gives you more of a reason to get them all the way to prestige 25, which is really high. Of course, the thing that people are more interested in is probably the actual gameplay mechanics of Shane, or otherwise his 3 teachables. Are they worth buying? Are they worth buying Shane for? Are they worth getting from the shrine? Are they worth even using? Let's find out. We'll start with Wide Open Throttle as the first one. This was the one a lot of people talked about in PTB that was going to be kind of off, like an off meta pick, and I still kind of stand by that. I think the perk is still alright and can be useful as an off meta haste boost. I was playing as V, I had Wide Open Throttle, I was using it to get the last achievement because there's an achievement related to this perk, a reason to get it, and I combined it with Life, and I was able to you drop the pallet, run around it once, vault with the Wide Open Throttle, which gave me 15% haste, get to the next loop, pause my exhaustion just enough for it to end, and then life from that tile into the exit gate and got out. The only reason I was able to do that was because of the Wide Open Throttle perk. So it's kinda interesting in that regard, but it's a very niche situation, and I kind of, for the most part, haven't really been able to use it outside of vaulting into the killer with life and then skirting away. But for that, you have to get a stun, which isn't always possible depending on the killer, so a small mishap. I had another encounter on Eyrie of Crows, which I'm not gonna try finding the footage for because this was weeks ago, but it was on not Eyrie of Crows, Dead Sands, the one with the shack in the middle, with one of those double pallets where I vaulted into the Cenobite and then ran backwards, and he swung and missed me because the game ended his swing early due to it supposedly connecting, but because of the haste it missed, and that let me run around him and go into a stronger area to properly loop the Cenobite. So it has a lot of niche situations, but I wouldn't say it's a good perk, and it's not really worth getting in the shrine compared to saving for a more meta style perk that's a bit newer, or saving it for the character Shane himself. It's kind of like, if you're gonna get him, you're gonna get him for all 3 perks, not just Wide Open Throttle. In comparison to that though, Lend a Hand is really good. Linda Hand might be, in my opinion, might be top 5 healing perks in the game now. It works really, really good with boons. You can combine it with Circle of Healing, which is already a pretty prevalent healing perk, or Exponential, which is really good anti-slug, which Linda Hand also is. Or you can combine it with Counter Force, which is really good against Jason right now because of pins, popularizing the Hex meta Jason build. Which happens every time a new killer comes out. So combining this with Counter Force lets you get infinite charges on people's heals and also knock out totems from the match. Of course, there's only 5 totems in a lobby unless the killer brings Pentimento, so if 2 people bring this perk, it has less of an impact. Some people will be able to get removed 8 permanent healing charges, while other people will only be able to get 4, but those fast heals, they mean a lot. Because you gotta keep in mind, it's a brand new part permanently locked in that people's heal, which boosts perks like Botany Knowledge, makes heals even faster. Autodidact literally makes it to where if you get 5 stacks somehow with this perk, you can, one skill check gets them all the way fully healed. It counters slugging because the person's healing bar is just one universal thing. It's not different between slugging and injured. So it counters slugging. You can pop it on people who are slugged and get a pickup faster, which makes it stack with perks like We're Gonna Live Forever and Conviction, because you know it's a recovery bar, so it makes perks like Conviction and Unbreakable activate faster, which works for your teammates if they bring that stuff. I found this perk has been really, really useful, and honestly, I think people should probably look into using Linda Hand over any other perk that Shane brings to the table. We'll cover it in a moment, but I think it's better than Cross-Examination. I might go more in detail about this perk in its own video later down the line, after like it's kind of rested for a bit and I can test it with even more things. But I'm really enjoying Linda Hand. I've kind of been endlessly running it for the most part, especially on V, who I'm currently on the P100 grind for. They really encourage you, if it pops up in a shrine, I think you should get Linda Hand if you don't want Shane himself. It's definitely worth grabbing in my opinion if you're someone who likes helping their team outside of just being good at chase and generators, if you want to also help in that great macro sense of just time saving. And then the last perk is Cross-Examination, which gets changed in 2 days. So I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit more on terms of what it does. But for right now, it's while in the killer's terror radius, they leave light marks that last for 10 seconds that you can see. And then when you're on it, you gain elusive. However, and then it, lingering effect of 5 seconds. But this is changing to not work while in chase. And I'm gonna be honest, this perk is still pretty good. The only difference between it working in chase and outside of chase is skill. Because if you're good enough, you should know what a shift tech is. A shift tech is where you hold shift the barest amount to fast vault stuff like windows and shack to stay out of chase, and then walk around the corner to still stay out of chase and keep fast vaulting that window more than just 3 times. I faced a Freddy recently who I abused shift tech against. It was very, very embarrassing for him. I vaulted shack window, I think 8 times without being in chase once. It looks like you're cheating when you're good at it. So this perk, when you combine that, will let you just run into it and gain elusive if you're good outside of chase. Currently, while it works in chase, you don't even have to try doing that, and it makes it really hard to track as killer. I think it's less impactful than it was on PTBE because people aren't also trying to learn a new killer. They're playing their main, so they're able to just kind of YOLO it a bit more. But it is really annoying to go against. I haven't had many people run it because I think people are seeing that's getting nerfed soon and just not choosing to learn it or run it in the meantime. I think a lot of the higher skill survivors find it pretty boring because it does mean that you lose chase more frequently. But if you're not as good at chase, I think it's worth using, especially if you're playing with buddies who are all good at chase. You could definitely use this in a 4-man and make it really, really hard for the killer to get hits randomly. The downside of running this perk though is that it makes killers troglodyte through tiles because they lose you, and then they go, did they go this way? And you will accidentally run into them several times. However, I have found that if you pair this with Quick and Quiet or Deception, you can get really, really funny moments happening. I'm sure I'll post a short about one eventually. And I really encourage people to use it in that regard of just kind of like a funny little troll perk. I love troll perks. But yeah, that's about it for Shane. There's not really much else to talk about due to him. I kind of want to cover Jason again, because my god, have I been enjoying Jason's power design. But there should be a PTB this week, and I think I'm going to post this video tomorrow for Monday. So just so everyone is clear, there should be a roadmap tomorrow that gives specific dates about everything for the coming month. I personally think the PTB is on Tuesday this week due to the Rift ending in 15 days. Typically, there is a 3-week waiting period between PTB and live servers, so this makes me think that this is either going to be a 2-week waiting period, or they're releasing the next Rift a week early to just blend the Rifts together and not have it be as much of a problem and then just release everything else the next week after that. Or they're extending the Rift and thus probably going to extend the anniversary event, which I know has had some drama about it recently with the cakes, another week past. So be on the lookout for that. From the rumors, this PTB is going to have a Trapper rework. I'm hoping for some other stuff that I know behind the scenes, wink wink, but keep an eye out for that. I'm sure I'll make a video on it. And yeah, I think Shane is worth the purchase, especially with the area shards. It's like 9,000 or whatever. I got him for free. Thank you, Behavior, for that. I don't have any codes because I'm not in the iridescent tier, and the only way I can get that is if you watch. So